Alright, this is a focus lesson on substitution. Remember, this is a review. We have about 2 weeks to kind of work on this stuff before we take our second assessment and then get into the work that you have not seen yet. Again, substitution, looking at number 11, gives us the question x plus y equals 8 and y equals 3x, using the notes that we have around here. Problem 1 is what it refers us to, and it gives us y equals 3x and x plus y equals negative 32. I always tell my students that substitution is not the preferred method. In other words, it's not the most popular method to use, but there are certain situations where you have to use it, and that is anytime you see a variable all by itself. If you look at this, you notice that this y is all by itself. X is not, because it has the plus y with it. Y and x are on the same side, so this is not. But what I usually use is something called the box and switch method. And what that means is I box the variable that's all by itself, which in this case is the y. I box what it's equal to, which in this case is 3x. I box the same variable that I just did this by itself down here, which is the y. And then I switch this y box for a 3x box. And so if you look at the example, it starts out with x plus y equals negative 32. Notice it shows you this y is in red because it's going to change it. And notice again, since y is equal to 3x, it turned y into 3x. They then combine like terms. X and 3x make 4x. It then divided by 4 on both sides, getting negative 8 for x. Once you have that first answer, if you recall from last year, you take that variable and you plug it into one of your originals. They chose the original formula, y equals 3x. They turned our x into negative 8 again using substitution, and then 3 times negative 8 gave them negative 24, which led to the point negative 8 comma negative 24, because x is negative 8 and y is negative 24. So let's look at 2 questions here before we get to some practice. On this number 11, we are looking at y being all by itself, so this is what gets boxed because these two are not alone, but this one is. Y is equal to 3x, and I am going to put the other y into a box itself. This means that I end up with x plus getting rewritten. I change my y out for a 3x and see that that equals 8. You then put your like terms together, getting 4x equals 8, and then dividing by 4 gives me x equals 2. Once I have that first answer, I rewrite one of my originals, which I'm just going to rewrite the x plus y equals 8. This x equals 2, which means that 2 plus y equals 8. And if I am solving for y, then I want to subtract 2 from both sides, getting y equals 6. This means that my ordered pair is always x first, y second, so it'll be 2 comma 6. And you always want to check it with the equation you did not use. This means I'm going to put 2 in for x. 3 times 2 is 6, which matches, which means that my answer is correct on number 11. 13 is a little bit of a challenging problem because it just kind of makes us work a little bit more for what we want. We have 3x plus 4y equals 7. And looking at this question, the variable that is by itself is this y, because it's all by itself on that side of the equal sign, which means that I can trade y out or switch y out for whatever is on the other side, which in this case is a full x plus 3. So I now come down and put a box just around the y, not the 4y, because if this is just y in the box, that has to just be y in the box. And I'm going to rewrite this by trading out this. So I rewrite 3x plus 4 because that's what's in front of the box. I trade my y out for x plus 3 using parentheses, and then I put equals 7. I then have to distribute. 3x comes down, plus 4x plus 12 equals 7. Got to put my like terms together. 7x plus 12 equals 7. And solving for x, you have to first off move the number, so we subtract 12 from both sides. 7x equaling negative 5, and then dividing by 7. There is nothing we can do with this. It is just an ugly number of negative 5 over 7. At this point, you have to kind of trust it, and let's just see what happens as we plug it back in. Let's get back to our original equation here. X plus 3 equals y. and see what happens here. First off, x turns into negative 5 over 7 plus 3 equals y. We have to remember that we just learned how to deal with fractions. We don't like the fractions, so we're going to go ahead and multiply by whatever's on the bottom, which means we'll multiply everything here by 7. This will become negative 35 over 7 plus 21 equals 7y. Simplifying negative 35 over 7, if you remember, it always ends up being nice. That is negative 5 plus 21 equals 7y. Putting these two together, negative 5 positive 21 makes 16 equals 7y, and when I divide by 7, I get 16 over 7 equals y. That means that my ordered pair is negative 5 over 7, comma 16 over 7. I will use a high-tech calculator to check this one. X plus 3 equals y, which means if I put negative 5 over 7 in here plus 3, I should get 16 over 7 as my answer, and you notice that is actually what pops up into the calculator, which is what I am looking for. Same thing if I was to do it here. 3 times x would be 3 times negative 5 over 7 plus 4 times 16 over 7, and that gives me 7, which is what I am looking for. So that is the answer. So if you don't mind, take a few minutes and do these questions here, which would be on another sheet of paper. So I believe it is, well, I'll give it to you in class. Sorry.